Hey guys, welcome to the stats video. We have a lot to go through, so let's start rifling through them. I'm not gonna explain some of them. You can draw your own conclusions from whatever stat I throw out there. So I think one of the reasons for doing the stat video is to kind of highlight some impressive achievements and performances. So right now I want to highlight Catco for a second. And his worst score, if you look at the minimum column, is 136. Um, and the average score of the league is 133.44. So Catco's worst week is still higher than the league average. That's impressive. Also, his minimum score of 136 is 20 points higher than the next highest minimum score, which is 116 by Nick Clark. Um, so that's also impressive. But one thing, if you look at maximum scores, there's 4 people with a better maximum score than him. So even with Peyton Manning, he's hasn't had one of the top 4 scores, or 5 scores, I guess, because Jay's had 2 higher in the league. So that's something to look at. Also, 5th place through 8th place, I alluded to this in the power rankings video, is only separated by an average of 1.2 points, or 6 points over the course of the season. Apologies to Mike, I said he was in 8th in the power rankings video. He's in 7th, he's 1 point ahead of me. If you look at this chart, you might be able to pick it out, but you can also pick it out up here. Matvey and Tony have been declining in their score for 4 weeks. That's probably concerning for them. Mike and I both have 2 top 5 losses in 5 weeks, which hurts. And no team has had a top 5 score of 4 weeks. We've either had 5 weeks from Catco or 3, 2, or 1. So it's been competitive after the number 1 team there. When it comes to quarterbacks, I think the one thing I picked out from quarterbacks this week is that Billy's best score of 37 is equal to Catco's worst of 37. And Catco and Billy are 1st and 10th place, so no surprise there. In running backs, we had the worst week ever, so not ever, this season for running backs. Catco's worst is better than Matvey's best, so that's kind of a similar stat to what we just went over in quarterbacks. Also, Catco got the high running back score this week of 47. It's kind of interesting to note that his worst is only 4 points worse than that, so he's been really consistently good at running back scoring. Wide receiver, before this week, Billy was averaging 60 points a week, basically, from wide receiver. He's down to 33. That has to be a little bit concerning for him, his performance this past week. And Matvey at wide receiver, if you look at this chart, he's the light blue. He kind of goes in like a mountain-type shape. He goes from worst to first to worst over the course of 5 weeks. So that's interesting. And me and Nick Clark are 7th and 8th in wide receiver points. But we have the highest floor. He has 39 for a minimum. I have 38. Those are the 2 best. So from a statistics point of view, you would expect us to have a low standard deviation, and we do. That's the stats teacher in me. So the only other bad standard deviation is Catco, because he's been consistently low. Everyone else has much higher fluctuation in their scoring. Let's look at the DSTs and kickers. We had 2 wins from DST this week. That's a real kick to some people's nuts. Billy and Matvey both have 2 on the season now. And Mike's starting to pick it back up. That's one thing. Hopefully he can continue that. Also, if you look at the total points here for kicker and defense, you'll see that Matvey and Jay have 114 and 115. The next highest is me at 85. A big difference in that gap, I think, is they've had consistent kicker and defense. They've started the same 2 every single week. Meanwhile, I haven't started the same defense twice. So I've had a different defense every week. Some other people have been toying around, kind of streaming defenses like that. So that's pretty interesting to look at. And you know what? The time's almost out, so I'm just going to do a part 2 of the stats video this week. So come back and enjoy that.